All right, good afternoon or good morning, depending on what portion of the country you are on, Elite CEOs. My name is Ben Sturdivant. I am the Chief Operating and Chief Marketing Officer with Elite CEOs, and I am so excited that you are here with us today. We are streaming live. Unfortunately, I don't have the group in front of me, so I won't be able to answer questions right now. But if you do have questions on what I'm going to cover today, if you want to drop your question below, I will do my best to get back and answer it. But I wanted to come on today and share with you a topic that I think is really, really important. The four pillars of a seven-figure business: offer, traffic, sales, and fulfillment. I'm going to do a very brief sort of 30,000 foot view overview. And if you want more clarity, I've got about a 2 hour really detailed training. If you type in the comments, you drop the comment webinar, someone on our team will shoot you over a link to a replay of a webinar that I did that really dives deep into this content. But I want to get started because I want to make sure that that you guys have as much information as you can, as quickly as you can, because this is really, really important. So let's start with the first one here. We're going to start with offer. Okay, this is probably the one that people overlook the most, and it is the most important. Most people want to go in, well, I want to learn how to get traffic, and I want to learn how to, close more sales, and I want to learn how to do more fulfillment. At the end of the day, if your offer is amazing, it's going to do well. And there's a couple of key things that you need to do. Number one is you need to identify which niche that you're going to be a part of. You might have heard this concept of niching down. This isn't something that you have to worry too much about if you're in a very profitable industry, right? So if you're in finance, if you're in real estate, if you're in some of those bigger investment type industries, it's not that big of a deal. However, if you're in something like health and fitness or relationship, these are really, really broad. And if you don't specialize, if you don't niche down, it's going to be difficult for you to connect with an audience. So I would recommend niching down. And the way to do this, my recommendation is take something that you are an expert at, and you could have a conversation with anyone about anything, and within that category. So I'll use health and fitness as an example. If you're a vegan and you're an expert when it comes to vegan, that should be your niche in the health and fitness. So build your health and fitness coaching offer, the nutrition part of it, the angle around vegan. If you're in the relationship, space, if you're a man and you have great knowledge and expertise when it comes to dating and relationships or marriage, then I would focus in on targeting men, because that's who you can relate to. Back in the health and fitness space, another example, if you're a mom and you've got kids and you know what that process is of, going through the weight gain, going through the emotions and the hormones and all of that stuff, and you have expertise in that, so you have a personal story and experience with that, go down and go down that niche. The reason is because it's going to allow you to connect with people at a personal level and solve problems. Okay, these are the two things that I think are the biggest focus, should be the biggest focus when it comes to your offer. Niche down so you can get specific with your language and then solve problems. I'm not going to get into it now. The webinar, again, type comment webinar if you want. Someone will send you the replay of that webinar. And I go into great detail with my problems to solutions grid and how you come up with what types of things you should cover in all of your marketing and all of your offer, all of the fulfillment. It covers a lot of that. But hands down, if you could focus on solving problems, you're going to do amazing. I'm going to use a very specific example. We have a client in our program. His name is Ranjit. Ranjit has a very unique offer. It's very niche down. He helps tech executives that live abroad, specifically in India, that work in the tech industry. He helps them sort of learn and master the process of getting their H-1B1 visa. I don't understand all the details. All I know is he went from 0 to 100K a month in revenue in about 6 months. Why? Because he charges a lot. It's, I think, a 10K offer, but he understands the process because he went through it personally. Okay, so that's a really good example of someone who took their expertise, took what they did personally. Like, he's not an immigration lawyer. He's not certified with immigration in any way. But he perfected a process because he went through it. He knows the market, he knows their problems, and all he does is offer to solve it. This is the most important thing. And if you don't know where you're at right now, you need to take the time. Like if you don't know where to go or which direction, or maybe you're in a situation where you're not getting the results that you want, you're kind of stuck. Typically, that's because you're not connecting well with your audience. And that usually comes from a lack of understanding of what they really are experiencing. So if you haven't made a lot of sales, if you're just kind of starting out in the process, what I recommend that you do is market recon. Get out there, get in Facebook groups where your avatar is hanging out. Spend some time on Amazon and look at the comments that your audience, your avatar, on the books that they're reading. Get to know who they are. Go on Quora, go on answerthepublic.com, go through all of this stuff to really understand what problems people are dealing with. One little hack that I'll give you inside of Facebook groups, if you go into a Facebook group that your avatar spends time in and you go into the little search feature and you type in the word struggle or frustrated, you're going to see a lot of posts from people who are struggling or are frustrated in that community, whatever that industry that you're a part of. This is a great way to do some market research and understand what people are really going through. My biggest recommendation is to connect with connect with the niche that you're in and make sure that you know enough about it so that when you get on the phone or when you're messaging or when you're having conversations of any kind with your prospect, that you're going to be able to know what they're going through, what they've been through to get to the goal. Okay. All right. So that's offer. Again, if you type in webinar, someone from our team will send you a detailed replay webinar where I dive into this in a lot more detail. The second one is traffic. And there are two sources of traffic, right? You've got free. We also call this organic, right? And then you've got paid. So everything else. So, we do a lot of free stuff. We do a lot of direct DMing and messaging of people who are followers on social. We do group stuff where we'll post content in groups. We'll engage with commenters. We do a lot of things throughout all of our marketing strategy. Again, in the webinar replay, I cover a whole bunch more in detail. But probably our best paid traffic, our most profitable, I should say, because we do Facebook ads, YouTube ads. Our best, most profitable strategy is IG shoutouts. And the IG shoutout strategy is difficult, but once you get it working, it can be extremely profitable. And I go through that in a little bit more detail. But the most important thing, what I want to cover, is a repeatable flow of leads, a repeatable flow of traffic that you can count on being there every single month. And that's how you get consistent with your business. I do a lot of audits for some of our next level clients. And the ones that have these kind of fluctuations, the ups and downs with their revenue, or maybe they're stuck at a certain plateau, they just don't have any consistent flow of lead generation. So spend some time and invest some time into mastering the different methods of traffic and understand what you can do and what you can't do. I would not recommend running ads until you've really exhausted your organic market and really learned the process of organic. I see a lot of people who they're just starting out and they want to run straight to ads. And this is a big mistake because it's going to cost you a lot of money to kind of figure things out. Look at organic like practice. Like, don't even care if you get results. Of course, you want results, and that's, ultimately what you're after. But don't even worry about it. Just look at it like practice. And this is where you master your messaging, your offer. You're going to change your offer. You might add some things, tweak some things as you go, but use organic as sort of the testing ground. And then go out and run ads. We do this with a lot of our business to this day. We spend a significant amount of money on ads, millions of dollars a year on ads. But we will test things organically to see if it connects with our avatar, our niche, right? And if it doesn't, we're probably not going to run it as an ad. We're not going to use it as a lead magnet or a hook or an angle, right? So organic is a great place to start. And think about this. If you don't have a strong system for your marketing, if you don't have a good system to generate conversations and to nurture those conversations, then dumping a bunch of money and getting a bunch of volume is only going to magnify that that I call it the hole in the bucket, right? So don't worry about anything else until you've mastered organic, because that's going to help you master ads, and you'll be so much more efficient with your ad spend as you go. Okay. All right. Let's talk about number 3, which is what did I say? Sales. So sales. So in your marketing funnel, the funnel is the whole process from lead generation all the way to fulfillment. There's lead generation, that's marketing. Marketing is getting attention and attraction, right? Sales is all the stuff that happens between, okay, now they're a lead and then they become a client working with you. So this includes all of the back end stuff, right? Really what we're talking about here is nurture. And again, guys, if you type in webinar, down below, you'll see in the comments, you type in webinar, someone from our team will give you a link to about a 2-hour webinar where I go into deep detail on all of these. But this is really what you need to master when it comes to sales. The sales call is certainly important, right? And we have lots of training, and you guys who've been in the Elite CEOs group for a long time, you have seen us do lives and training on it. But really, the sales call only happens when people are ready to make that decision to learn more, right? It's the strategy session, the discovery call, whatever you call yours. Those are the only people that are ready at that moment. And what I'm talking about here is timing. If any of you have ever tried to message someone who you thought was a perfect fit for your offer, and they don't engage. Maybe they were even a lead that came from an ad, right? They clicked on your ad, but they don't respond. They ghost you, right? Or you reach out to somebody and they don't respond. Or maybe you had somebody, we'll just leave it at that. The reason that they're ghosting you is because they're not ready to hear your pitch yet. They're not ready. They're at a time in their life when they're not ready to make a commitment to something. They're just curious. So if you don't have a process that you can nurture people with, you're not going to be very effective at closing, because the only people you're going to be able to close are the people who are ready right then and there. And this is what's going to limit a lot of you when it comes to scaling your business, because you're only going to be able to follow up and connect with people who you've just talked to, right? Otherwise, you have to go back manually and connect with every single person you've had messaging conversations with, or that you set messages to. That's not a duplicatable or replicatable process. What you need to do, and I dive into this in the webinar, is you need to create a conversion system. I call ours the Elite Conversion System, or the Elite Operating System. And what we do is we drive people through a series of process. We use our Elite360 system, and we drive people. They come into we do ad to messenger, and this is in IG and Facebook, right? They come into messenger. Then we send them to some sort of lead magnet, like an opt-in to a course. You guys have probably seen our Facebook Ads Academy or YouTube Ads Academy or IG Shoutouts or Organic Masterclass. We have a lot of them because those lead magnets solve problems for our audience, right? And then what we do is we get them to our VSL, and then we send them to our we want to get them to some sort of booking appointment, right? Now, do they all book? No. Well, what we do at this stage is we move them into our Elite360 system. And this is where we're doing email. Obviously, most of you are hopefully you're doing that. Many of you don't, which scares the life out of me. Email, text, we do voicemail drops. We do, we have our free group, which you guys are a part of, right? We've got our challenges we've done. We did a webinar, right? We do live events. We have content, like our content strategy with our live content and all of our different team members and stuff. All of this stuff is designed to nurture, because we're going to have to find people and catch them at the right time when they're ready to make a decision. Think about it. Let's say you've got a 10K offer, okay? And you happen to find somebody who responds to your ad, or maybe you message that says, yeah, I'm interested, but maybe they're going through the process of qualifying and buying a home, and they need to have that money in the bank. If you've ever gone through the process, it's an extremely frustrating, difficult process to buy a home. And so banks, the banks want to see money in the account. That would not be a great time for them to just take 10K out of their bank and send it over to somebody else, obviously. So the timing isn't right. Maybe they are genuinely interested, but they're not ready. If you don't have a nurture process in your sales process, you're losing money. I cannot stress that enough. What I see so many people, all they're doing with their organic effort is they're doing organic messaging, trying to get them on a call. Now that's great to start. That's totally okay to kick off your business, but that's not running a business. You don't have a real business at that point. If you want a real business, you've got to create a system. And I don't care if it's Elite360 or something else, but you need to create a very detailed, complete system that allows you to nurture leads through the journey, right? Through their process, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to decide if they know, like, and trust you. I'm speaking directly to people who we are nurturing right now. Many of you who are watching this in our Elite CEOs group are not working with us. You're not in our mastermind group, right? You're not one of our mastermind coaching clients yet. And so you're a living example of the process in action. The reason that we're providing this value, the reason that we want to help people is because maybe the timing's not right for you. Maybe you're that person that's going through, buying a home. Maybe you're that person who just had a baby. That is not a great time to start a business. I've got 2 kids. I know, right? But when the time is right, you're going to remember the value and the content that we gave. So that's what I want you to apply to your business. Don't be afraid to create a system. Don't be afraid to invest the time and effort. Yeah, it's hard. If it were easy, everyone would do it, okay? Of course it's hard. It has to be hard. The hard is what makes it so that you have an opportunity to actually do something. If it were easy, everyone would be successful and there'd be no chance for you. There'd be no business. The reason that it's difficult is because it's not something everyone will do. Right? And that's what separates the people who are successful from those who aren't. So yeah, you're going to have to invest the time to learn how to do some technology setup. You're going to have to learn how to manage your time so that you can connect with lots of different people and wear lots of different hats. Welcome to business ownership, right? And a lot of you know what I'm talking about. You're going through it right now. So make sure that you have implemented some sort of nurture process in your sales, okay? The fourth then is fulfillment. And a lot of people think that, okay, I close the sale, I'm done. No, what you should have is another nurture process, okay? Because what that should lead to is another upsell. Something on the back end to increase your lifetime value of your client, okay? So I'll give you a specific example, and it has to be real value. So in our program, we have low ticket courses and things, sure. But our main offer is our coaching mastermind, where you come in, you work one-to-one with a coach. They help you create or perfect your offer. We teach you our 7-figure strategies that are working for us and that have worked for 15,000 clients, help people make over 350 million in revenue. So you're working one-to-one with your coach. They're helping you implement and execute that, right? And then that's a 16-week program. After that 16 weeks, we have a next level mastermind group. This is usually where we now help you transition and scale and grow your business, where you start to hire, where you start to perfect your operating systems. You get to work one-on-one with the executives in our team. For example, I do an operations marketing audit with our next level clients. We have our ads executive does an ads audit, and we do, this is our quarterly process. So you get these audits and you get access to a much higher level one-to-one approach with all different types of aspects of our business. This is a really expensive offer to fulfill, okay? But it provides a tremendous amount of value. Now, obviously, we can't do that for people at the mastermind level because they're not paying enough for that. That wouldn't be a smart business model. So what you need to do is you need to have a fulfillment process where you have something that, obviously good value and content that you're giving them for your main offer. But what you need to do is create something on the back end that you could level up. If it's much more labor intensive like ours, where you're involving either lots of people or you personally with a lot more time and effort, then it needs to be expensive. You guys got to get over this thing where well, I'm not worth it. I don't know if I can charge enough. If you've gotten results and you've helped other people get results and your time is limited, your time is valuable. Okay. Now, if you only think you're worth $20 an hour, that's your decision. If you think you're worth $500 an hour, that's also your decision. And you have to make that decision. So what I'm getting at is create something on the back end that you can follow up with once they're done with your program. And what you're doing through your fulfillment process is you're also nurturing them, right? And we use automation in Elite360 with a lot of check-ins, accountability, having our clients report. Our coaches will drop, their voicemails, right, through our system. They'll drop a voicemail with a personalized check-in for those clients. And obviously, our goal is to help them get results. We take a lot of pride that most of the people who go through our program come out making 2x what they put into it. We take a lot of pride in that because it's not easy, right? We know how difficult it is for people to learn something new, implement it, and get results in that short period of time. 16 weeks is not a lot, right? It goes by super fast. So we have a really powerful system. We have their 7-day sprint. They come in. Our goal is to get people making money and generating sales within their first 7 days of our mastermind program, right? And that's by design because there's nothing that's going to nurture people better than results. A lot of our fitness clients they'll do something similar, right? Well, they'll get people off to a really fast start and get great results like a massive weight loss really quickly. And that engages that person because it's going to help them get better results long term. So, in the training I go through it, I dive into, if you don't have a lot of content, I dive into like a beta launch concept where you can sell before you actually have any content, but I'm not going to dive into that now. Again, if you're watching this, comment webinar and we're going to send you the replay of the very detailed webinar that I dive into. But I wanted to cover this with you today because I think having this general summary, if all you did was just focus on those 4 things and sort of the concepts that I laid out for you and don't worry about the nitty gritty, you're going to be a lot better off than most people. I think what happens is people get so caught up with, I got to say all the right things and I got to have it look a certain way and all this minutia that really doesn't matter, right? What matters is that you have a really good offer that you can connect with and solve people's problems, that you have a consistent flow of lead generation coming in, obviously, that you have a really solid nurture process that you can take people through. And of course, you have a really strong fulfillment program where you can nurture people and then obviously increase the lifetime value of those customers. So that, guys, is what I have for you today. Hopefully that was valuable for you. Again, comment webinar and we will send you that webinar replay. And I will look forward. If you have any questions, you can type those in down below as well, and I'll try to get to them or someone on our team will as soon as we possibly can. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.